Hello there guys, Elite Legionarii here, and yes, I know I've been away for a long time, but I am back, and I do have a couple of nice replays for you. I'll be uploading this particular one now, obviously, and then I'll upload probably the next one tomorrow or the next day. Cleo from the Greek clan, Kleomenis, very persistently has been trying to get me to upload videos and sending me replays, and when Cleo messages me, it's like I can't say no, because he just has this Greek charm about him. And Greece needs all the help it can get at the moment. And this battle here is going to be awesome for Greece. So this was the finals, or the first battle of the finals for the tournament, 31k tournament, that Mohamed from the Titans clan relatively recently hosted. I know it's over now, but people have Cleo and some of the others have offered to send me replays, which I'm quite happy to upload. So even though these are the finals, if you want to send me some replays from within the tournament, earlier in the tournament, I'm quite happy to upload them. Anyway, this is the finals, and the finals were between the Greek team consisting of Cleo and GREEK-IRAKLIS. I've got to tell you, it's really cool for me personally to be able to actually commentate a video with Iraklis in it, because I know how good this guy is. I've seen his stuff, and I know he's very well known within a lot of the tournament stuff with Rome too, and has always been like a really outstanding member of the Greek clan. And I've never really played with this guy, but I've watched his stuff, and I think he's an excellent player. So if you do watch this, Iraklis, I hope you enjoy it. I think you do some awesome work when you play. So, and him and Cleo together is a killer team. And these guys had been obviously making their way through the tournament very, very well, and they've come up to the final here. So Iraklis has the Greek cities, and Cleo has gone with the Scipii Romans. So this is going to be a really good complementing team here. And they're up against the COH clan consisting of Tacitus. Tac's a great guy, a good player too. He can be very versatile, and of course he's got Nidintu with him as well. Now, Nidintu I find to be really unpredictable as a player, which can be very hard to anticipate, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. He's playing as the Senate, the SPQR Romans. I got to say, I was kind of surprised to see COH in the final here, because I know they're more of a CWB clan. I mean, I know they're good at 31k, but they generally focus on CWB. So I was a little surprised to see them here. I honestly thought it would probably end up being between the Greeks and the Titans, but we've got the Greeks and the SPQ, the COH, yeah, the SPQR. Anyway, now, I know that the teams, they had special names for the teams in this tournament, so Greek people watching this, please forgive me. Please do not try and castrate me with a kopis. And if you don't know what a kopis is, it's a Greek sword. But I just want to see if I can say this name properly. Cleo and Iraklis' team was Neodemedeus Brasiadoi. I don't know, Cleo, if I'm saying that right, give me a medal. If I'm not, please don't kill me, because I cannot pronounce Greek words. And the COH team were called the Sputniks. So we've got Ivan versus Alexander basically in this battle. So Mother Russia versus Greeks. Anyway, enough of my waffling, let's get into the battle. The armies here are 1 legionary first cohort, 13 urbans and 6 praetorians for Cleo. And it looks like we've got 1 militia cav general, probably just to keep his general mobile and safe, from Iraklis. Then we've got 5 units of archers, and then the rest are Spartans. The COH team, consisting of course, Nidintu and Tacitus, with Carthage. COH SPQR has got 6 praetorians and 14 urbans by the looks. And it looks like for the Carthage army is 4 Sacred Band Cav, which is very unusual. Not to say that it can't work, but it's not generally used, especially when countering Greece. And then the rest are Sacred Band, so that's 16 Sacred Band. So the numbers in terms of infantry are in the favour of Carthage versus Greece, but when it comes to Carthage versus Greece, it's always down to who controls their lines best and who gets their numbers down. Some people will always say Carthage will beat Greece. It's not true. It's really a matter of how well you control your lines and get the numbers involved into the battle quickly. I have plenty of experience with it, and I know I'm not a particularly good player of pikes, but I do know how it generally sort of works. Anyway, at this early stage in the battle, we can see Cleo's gone with his typical kind of strategy of a very tight, compact Roman build, and using testudos, and generally he tries to use this to get his opponent to make a maneuver, and I think what he's going to go for in this battle is to overextend his opponents. Also here, Cleo's gone with the legionary first general as his general unit, which can be very dangerous but can be very effective because you can have very, very high morale among your men. Initially, I always thought that you don't get both effects of both units. Like if you're going to have a first cohort, you need to have a first cohort, and then you need to have your general and an urban. But as it turns out, the effect actually doubles if you've got it in both in one unit. But it also, you lose a lot more morale if you lose it as well, because it's like both morale boosting units in one. So it is actually quite good to have it in one unit. I always thought it was best to just have it have like a legionary first and then a general and urban cohort. That way you've got two units with morale boost. So if you lose one, you still got another. And I didn't think you get both effects if they're both in the same unit, but you do apparently, according to Cleo anyway. So he's got very high morale there. So if he keeps his general out of there, these guys will be very hard to break. But if he loses it, they'll break very quickly. So that's something to take note of if you're Cleo, or want to use Cleo's build. So at this early stage of the battle, Iraklis has moved up his regular archers here, and he seems to be firing at these loose formation urbans. I'm not really sure what if he's trying to thin these out, but really shooting urbans on the front, even at this range, is kind of not really worth it because the armor and shields are so strong. If I were him, I probably would have gone for fire arrows if I was going to do this to lower morale, but ultimately I think I would have shot the cav, because there's no enemy archers to fire against him here, so he doesn't need to worry about the crappy range of these guys. He can use them with impunity, or immunity. I don't know, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Anyway, Cleo's going to go up here, and I think maybe he's going to try and bait some peeler out of these guys, out of Nidintu. And of course Cleo goes with the typical Cleo testudo push. Basically Cleo just likes to push forward with testudos, bait some peeler. But at this stage, I think what Cleo's going to want to try and do is he's probably going to take a more defensive role and just see if Nidintu will try an outflanking procedure or break up his lines, and this will give maybe Iraklis an opportunity to cut off, or Cleo to separate some of these guys, and Iraklis to attack Carthage unopposed. Because Cleo's formation is very tight and very defensive off the start, but he's going to use it aggressively. It tends to be how he uses it. So as you can see, he's just pushing forward very steadily here. And no doubt he's trying to bait some more guys. Now I think Nidintu's gone into loose formation here, probably expecting Cleo to jump out and do that. But Cleo's not going to do that. I think he's just trying to see what Nidintu's going to do, because the Greek clan's going to want to create an opportunity to move, and this is what is expected. I think this is what Cleo knew was going to happen, is Nidintu's going to try and outflank this, because it is a pretty logical step to outflank such a tightly compacted formation like this from Cleo. So he's trying to do that. And it looks like Iraklis is now starting to use fire arrows on Carthage, which I think is a good idea, because he's going to be facing Carthage himself, and he lowers Carthage's morale. It'll be helpful. So over here, as you can see, the peeler starts opening up as Cleo's going to withdraw. I think he felt he was too close, and he's going to pull back. Probably a good idea, because he was going to get quite heavily outflanked by this flanking manoeuvre. But I think Cleo might be looking just for any opportunities, or to separate these guys out. So if we look here, like Nidintu's trying to make the flank, but if he does that, he'll either lessen his centre area here, weaken it, or he might overextend and be far from Carthage, in which case that creates the opportunity for Iraklis to attack Carthage. Because pound for pound, a battle between Carthage and Greece really comes down to who controls their lines better, who gets the numbers down quick, and if your ally can back it fast enough. Otherwise it can really usually just end up destroying each other in most cases. But as you can see here, Nidintu's trying to make a flanking manoeuvre here, which is good to a certain extent, but if he gets too separated or too weakened in the centre, or weaken them against weaken Carthage against Greece, and if Cleo backs, so he does need to be a bit careful. But being proactive and trying to flank is not necessarily a bad idea. But as you can see here, Iraklis pushes in on tack, and he's going to get him sort of unaware, well not unawares, but on a slight angle here. So this was a nice charge by Iraklis, and Cleo's going to push around and back him quite quickly. And these guys are forced to come back here, but it's quite good because they managed to rout one of these sacred band. And if we look here, and this is what I'm talking about, this is what's going to turn this battle into Iraklis' favour. He's caught Tak pretty heavily out of position. He's got the advantage here. And if we look, if I can just pause it, you can see Cleo's positioned himself in such a way that he's able to put Pila down into the sacred band. This is excellent because this is going to give Iraklis' Spartans an extra edge, which is great. Because if the Spartans win this fight decisively, then it's over. The COH team will not be able to win if the Spartans come away with a pretty decisive win and Cleo's still in strong numbers at the end. So Cleo's going to take a few Pila here, obviously, from these guys, but Nidintu's a bit out of shape here with his flanking procedure. It didn't go off the way he wanted. He's a bit sort of disorganised. And at this stage, and this is where I just want to point out, I think Tak makes a mistake. Iraklis is putting the Spartans forward. He's taking them off guard mode and he's pushing the back rows, the middle rows, all his rows forward. He's left a little force for a flank here, no doubt, and he's going to push his guys in and forward here. Now, the only way for Carthage to counter this is to also do the same and hopefully control his lines better and get some good Pila support and backup from his ally. If he just sits here and takes it, then the overwhelming numbers pushing into him are going to destroy his sacred band. So that's how you've got to deal with the Greek cities versus Carthage. You've got to get your numbers down and use your numbers. If you don't, the other team will win. And Cleo and Iraklis have got the advantage because not only have the Pila come in to thin these guys down quite substantially, Iraklis has pushed his Spartans in greater numbers, which is giving him numerical superiority in the attack, and as a result he is winning against Carthage. And Cleo's actually done a nice move here. You see this? Cleo's kept his tight defensive formation so that he can just stall and delay, probably go to Testudos, throw a few Pila, but he's able to push a good 5 or 6 urbans out this way, which is going to absolutely guarantee that this battle is going to be won by the Greek team because he's going to have the extra numbers and these guys are going to be throwing their Pila into these guys. And Iraklis makes a nice flanking move over here. Now, really, these guys really, especially Nidintu and these Cav, really need to get the hammer down and try and crack Cleo here, because if they don't, this fight is going to be a loss, and they're going to have a huge number of Spartans left, and it's going to be a complete easy victory for the Greeks. So at this stage in the battle, COH really need to try and sweep Cleo off the field on this side, otherwise it's just going to go the Greek way. And I think they take too long doing this because this Carthaginian army is getting destroyed. As I said, the numbers are, he's playing defensively, he's really not pushing the Spartans back, and now he hasn't got enough numbers to do it, so the Spartans are going to win. And with these urbans from Cleo here, it's really going his way. And we can see that these archers are still doing a nice job against the Cav as well, shooting them up. So here these guys come in with their Cav, put the numbers down. They really need to pour these infantry in, though, but Cleo's still got his Cav, so he's going to get some counters in, and Cleo's going to be able to hold this out. And it's all Cleo needs to do. Cleo doesn't need to do anything other than to just delay, because they're winning here, and this is the crucial part of the battle. If they win here, and these guys are still mucking around over here, then the Greek team is going to win the battle. And as you can see, Cleo recognises this, and he's actually willing to just play defence and sacrifice his infantry here. He's going to allow his infantry just to take an absolute hammering, because these guys are going to win here against Carthage. Cleo is going to just use his Cav here to back up. He sees an opportunity to take out the Nidintu's general, and he does get a nice bit of a nice charge on it, but not really decisive. He wants to pull back now because he's going to get overwhelmed. As you can see, these guys here are getting hammered quite heavily, but Cleo managed to pull these guys into the flank. That's some nice work there, and I suspect his infantry is going to rout soon. It's just overwhelmingly outnumbered. But if we look over here, the Carthaginian army is absolutely completely crushed, and the Spartans are pushing and holding back nicely over here. And now Cleo's made a nice move. He's actively and willingly going to sacrifice this section of his infantry to delay Nidintu's infantry and their cavalry, so that they can use his cavalry, get a rear charge, and finish this group off. And that's GG. That'll be victory for the Greek clan. So this is good work here. He knows he doesn't need this. Cleo is using this to bait his opponent, and him and Iraklis are pushing the heavy numbers down over here. Win this section, which is more important. If they win this section's going to be on its own. So, as you can see, several of these units rout. The SPQR Roman general just dies, so that causes a substantial rout there. As you can see, there's still tons of Spartans, which means they can easily finish off the remaining infantry, and Cleo's still coming away with a very nice number of his cav as well. So this has been very good use of positioning by both Cleo and Iraklis, and basically Cleo's done a really nice job at just delaying his opponents so they win a more important part of the battlefield, which is exactly what sold the battle here to the Greek clan. As you can see, there's still a good number of Nidintu's infantry, but all these Spartans here, the Iraklis decisively defeats Carthage, and with all these Spartans and still a few of the urbans left for Cleo, and with the cav, as you can see, it's overwhelming superiority to the Greek clan at this point, and the COH clan admits defeat. So a really nice game. I think it illustrates the point of recognising on the battlefield key opportunity. Iraklis pushed, and he pushed well because he caught Tak in a bad position, and he was able to drive his numbers and get his numbers down quickly, and Tak didn't put his numbers down fast enough to counter, which means Iraklis took the advantage right away. It's how it works with Carthage versus Greece. It's usually a matter of who gets those numbers down and who controls their lines the best, and Iraklis did both better than Tak, and he took the advantage. Cleo backed him up to ensure it happened, and they sped it up and did nicely, and Cleo basically delayed everything else on the other side with some nice defensive use of his urbans and some well-placed cav strikes just to delay further. It was pretty. It says an average victory, but I do really think the initiative constantly remained with the Greeks there. I think that flanking move or attempt to flank there by Nidintu at the start was good, but they didn't follow it up. And I think Tak was too passive in dealing with the Greeks, because Carthage can do very, very well against the Greek cities, but it needs to get those numbers down. Its strength over the Spartans is greater numbers, which he did have. I think he had 4 extra infantry units, but he did not get his numbers down, and that enabled Iraklis to win. So Iraklis comes away with 1350, very nice there. Cleo's only got under 1,000, but I felt Cleo's role in this battle was very, very important. He sacrificed a great deal of his army to ensure they got that positional advantage and took the key part of the battle apart into their victory. And then just under 1,000 for Nidintu and only 600 or so for Tak. So this is Cleo's kills here. Not exactly spectacular, but again, he played a very key role, and the scoreboard doesn't really show it as well as I think the battle, if we look at it as a whole, did. So it's the first battle in the finals of Titans Mohamed's 31k tournament. Great win there for the Greek clan. I do have the other battle as well, which I'll probably upload in a day or two. I'll just see. So tell me what you think, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Well done to the Greek clan. Always great to watch, and it was really cool to see Iraklis in this battle. I've never had the opportunity to commentate a battle with him in, even though I've seen quite a lot of his battles, and of course he's got a pretty substantial reputation as an excellent player around the Total War community. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for sending the replay, Cleo. And remember, any of you guys who fought in this tournament, doesn't matter if you won battles or lost battles, send them in to me. Message me on Steam, tell me you got your battles, send them in to me, and I'll upload them all, and I'll tell you which parts of the tournament they were in. I never took parts in this tournament because, to be honest, I think I'm playing pretty crap at the moment, and I've been a little bit busy with other things, but I'm quite happy to commentate these battles anyway. So once again, great game to both the Greek clan and COH. Well done, Greek clan, and I'll be bringing you the second battle tomorrow. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you soon next time.